What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, No Credit, and I'm back again with another one. I need you guys to do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification icon for more videos like these. That being said, let's get into it. With the recent news of Errol Spence Jr. and Sebastian Fundora agreeing to a fight in October, Terence Crawford has a fight in August versus Israel Madrimov. Errol Spence Jr. has a fight against Sebastian Fundora. As you look at the champions at 154, we see Sebastian Fundora being the WBC champion. We see Israel Madrimov being the WBA champion. We see Sebastian Fundora being the WBO champion, but he will be stripped because he refuses to fight Terence Crawford. So Terence Crawford could be fighting for 2 belts when he fights Israel Madrimov. It could be a unification fight. The WBO and the WBA on the line. Terence Crawford becomes a unified champion in just one fight. Errol Spence fights Brian Mendoza. Errol Spence will cook Brian Mendoza and take his WBC belt. That leaves one more belt on the table, and that's the IBF belt, which is held by Bakram Martazaliev. Either Terence Crawford go get that IBF or Earl go get it, and they both meet for Undisputed. Well, they can't get Undisputed because Jermell still has the ring belt, so it's a little confusing here. Jermell still... Will somebody have to fight Jermell? I'm a little confused because look how the belts are spread out. That's interesting. Anyway, PBC, when we look at this, PBC is trying to block Terence Crawford undisputed run. I think this has something to do with Floyd Mayweather, honestly. If we sit down and think about it, it has something to do with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather don't want Terence Crawford to become undisputed 3 times. Floyd Mayweather, every time he talks, he said, me and Al Heyman are one. And I think this has something to do with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather trying to block greatness. He don't even want Crawford to fight Canelo. He didn't want Crawford to fight Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather do be hating on the low. And I wouldn't be surprised if his hand in it. And let me tell you why. Jermell and Charlo had no business fighting Canelo Alvarez. Crawford was going to become 3-time undisputed after the Errol Spence fight. When Crawford signed to the PBC, I thought Crawford signed to the PBC for a 2-fight deal. Undisputed fight with Errol Spence, and then another undisputed fight with Jermell Charlo, based on the fact Crawford stated those are the only 2 fights he wanted. PBC only guaranteed Crawford 1 fight. I guess they put all their bread in one basket thinking Errol Spence was going to beat Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford goes in there and he destroys Errol Spence Jr. So... he beat Errol Spence so bad that Errol Spence didn't even want the rematch. And he was getting ready for Jermell. PBC, they said, you don't get all of our belts. You take the belts from Earl. We got to give our other belts to Canelo Alvarez. And PBC, well, not give it to Canelo Alvarez. Give it up. You got to go earn it. PBC made Jermell Charlo go up and wait and fight Canelo Alvarez. When that fight, nobody was asking for it. We was asking for Jermell Charlo, the big Charlo, not the little Charlo, who has never fought above 160. There was no reason for him to go to 168 to fight Canelo Alvarez, even though he looked like the bigger man and probably is the bigger man. He just chooses to cut a lot of weight. But, yeah, that fight made no sense. PBC dropped the ball when they refused to give Terence Crawford the Jermell Charlo fight. But now PBC is using Sebastian Fundora, Errol Spence, and Jermell Charlo to flex their muscle again, to hold on to the belts and try to prevent Terence Crawford from becoming undisputed in his 3rd weight class. This is unbelievable. Look how they're positioning these guys. The WBC belt Fundora has. Earl's trying, whether Fundora have it or Earl have it, they're positioning these guys to have these belts to prevent Terence Crawford from becoming undisputed. Because if they have any of these belts, it's going to be hard for Crawford to become undisputed. He's eventually going to have to go see them. He's going to have to go see them for the Ring Magazine belt from Jermell Charlo. He's going to go ahead to see the winner of Sebastian Fundora and Errol Spence for the WBC if he wants to be undisputed. This is crazy. This is crazy how PBC has literally positioned himself to ruin this man's career like they did for 5 years. And we hear boxing fans come on the internet and ignorantly say stupid shit and say, Terence Crawford didn't fight a champion for 5 years. You freaking idiot. What do you mean Terence Crawford didn't fight a champion? Of course he did. He just didn't fight a current champion. He fought a champion when he first came up in weight. When he came up in weight in 2019, he fought Jeff Horn. His very first fight took that belt from Jeff Horn. Then after that, he fought another champion, Jose Benavidez. He was a regular champion. Crawford beat him. He's a former world champion. He fought another champion. And Amir Khan, he fought a couple more champions. He fought Sean Porter, Kell Brook. Those guys was former world champions. Those guys count as world champions. Boxing fans don't know. When you beat a former world champion, they count as champions still on your resume. Just because they're not current world champions does not mean they don't count as world champions. And then he finally fights Errol Spence for all the marbles. And he cooks Errol Spence because of all the years of frustration, making him wait 60-40, 80-20, take whatever we give you. He finally gets his shot, and he destroys Errol Spence. And he makes Errol Spence pay. You know, it is what it is. But I already see the play from PBC and Errol Spence. Errol Spence being used as a pawn. Sebastian Fundora was literally just Terence Crawford was literally just Sebastian Fundora mandatory. And Fundora refused to fight Terence Crawford. Fundora literally refused to fight Terence Crawford when Crawford was his mandatory. He's willing to vacate one belt because he gets to hold on to the other belt. You know, the WBC is in real good. You know, they're cool with Al Heyman and the PBC. They got a good relationship going over there, but they don't really bang with the WBO like that. So Sebastian Fundora, even though he said he was never going to vacate the belt, he still vacated it. And Crawford's going to fight for the vacant belt versus Israel Madrimov in a unification fight to get 2 belts. But then there's still other belts out there, the IBF and the WBC and the Ring Magazine belt. And Jermell Charlo still holding on to that Ring Magazine belt to still be in the picture. I wonder if Errol fights Jermell Charlo or Crawford fights Jermell. But still, there's a lot of fights at 154 that could be made. The 154-pound division looks stacked right now. I hope Jermell Charlo stays there. I know his boy Errol is there, but I hope he stays there, you know. He stays there. Terence Crawford's there. Fundora, Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz. All of these guys need to mix it up. And I want to see Undisputed. The last 2 guys, probably Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, lock in again for the rematch of the century again, just like the first fight, but this time it'll be bigger than the first fight. You know, first fight they sold 700 pay-per-view. The second fight, they're selling over 1 million pay-per-views because the entire world knows who Terence Crawford is, who Errol Spence Jr. is, because that fight went viral. You know, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, that fight went viral. The beatdown that Terence Crawford gave to Errol Spence will be remembered for centuries because everybody had a cookout. We all had the big fish. We all had the big fish. Grilled fish, fillet fish. Man, we had fried fish. We had all types of fish. But anyway, as you guys can see the play, PBC is positioning himself to collect those belts and keep Terence Crawford on the outside like they did for 5 years. Hopefully Crawford finds a way around that because we don't want to see these guys waste this man's career again, positioning their guys to hold on to the Ring Magazine belt and the BC belt. It's disgusting for the sport of boxing. The man just wants to continue to chase greatness, and Mayweather and Al Heyman are trying to prevent that. Prevent this man from becoming 3-time undisputed. But if he doesn't get it at 154, he can just get it with a one fight versus Canelo Alvarez.